fascinating day's play.
Even Stevens, I would say.
That sixth wicket, you don't think just tilts it slightly?
Not really, because, it depends on what happens tomorrow morning. If they add another 100, 120.
Jaswal's still there, isn't he?
But if you get the 4 quickly, then it will look good for England.
Yeah. Well, on that basis, Bumble should still be playing if Jimmy Anderson can carry on till he's 85. David Lloyd joins us now. Good afternoon, Bumble.
Well, I might make a comeback. I'm not 85, but good gracious me! But he looks superb. He looks absolutely brilliant. I'm not sure it's England's day. I'd be siding with India.
Yeah, it's well poised. It was a masterclass of control, wasn't it, from Jimmy? I mean, just everything he's learnt over those years was in that spell today.
Just control one end, and if you pick up a wicket, that's absolutely fine. They got young spinners, very, very young spinners, and they're learning the trade on the hoof, as it were, so he can control one end.
Hardly any of those runs for Jaswal come off of Jimmy, did they? Just a sort of relatively
fortunate with that one that went to root. It was a very, very hard chance. But it would have been good if they could.
But we said that's a great knock by him. He that's the second time he's looked in good shape, hasn't he?
Well, he opens the batting for Rajasthan Royals alongside Joss Butler, so England would know all about him. He looks a wonderful player. And we're seeing so many young players taking to Test match cricket, just getting into the team and not just learning a little bit, but they're having a real influence in the game. He looks a special player.
During the first Test, Bumble, there was an interesting stat about the fact that when the ball really turns in India, they don't do as well in India as when it's a flat pitch. And this looks like a flat pitch. So, I mean, if they can, I presume they only really wanted to bat once, but it does look that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you look at this pitch compared to the first one, you looked at it and think this is going to spin from ball one. This looks a pretty good pitch. Now, you'd expect it to be exactly the same for at least a couple of days. And so you get into that Test match cricket, they're 336 for 6. They'll be looking for 400. Get 400, you're well in the game. Then it's over to England. England then have to bat well, really well, in their first innings. You stay in the game, first innings, and then you're looking to pounce on that third innings when it's just doing a little bit more.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, because it looks like a good pitch, and expect us if we don't throw our wickets away to bat well. What about Shoaib Bashir? What did you make of his debut, Bumble?
Well, it's on social media. It says he's nerveless. And that is absolutely perfect, that Tom Hartley comes in as 24-year-old. I think this lad is 20. I think it's incredible that they can come into Test match cricket and have an influence on the game. Absolutely thrilled that he's picked up a couple of wickets. And also Rian Ahmed, he's a teenager. He's picked up, with the most difficult art of leg spin, picked up a couple of wickets. So these lads going forward will only get better.
It's true. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know. It was a very, very interesting day's play. There's no question about it. The whole thing is compelling, the whole series, isn't it? The way England play, the way they approach Test match cricket has really revitalised it, I think, for us.
You wouldn't be at all surprised if England, go and put on a big score, and but then declare about 95 ahead and say, go on, then have another bat. Let's make a game of it.
Do you know, lads, I wouldn't be surprised if England were 80 all out either.
Yeah. No, that is the joy of it, really. And, it's going to be fascinating tomorrow to see what happens. What about... there was a couple of nice moments as well. We had Bashir, Ahmed took a catch, and then they returned the compliment to each other. Did you see that?
No.
They got a bowled and a catch off of each other. So, they seem to be working very, very well. So, fingers crossed tomorrow.
They'll be having a ball. I mean, they're living the dream, these lads.
No, absolutely. I would think so. And I couldn't believe the way, I mean, you've been there through sort of management with England. The idea that you would pick a player based on seeing a clip of him bowling for Somerset, stick it on a WhatsApp group and say, here, he looks quite good, Baz. What about taking him to India?
Yeah, you know what? I've sort of moved with the times, and sort of going back to my time, it was primitive, and I think the way that they do it now is absolutely perfect. They don't have to. We used to have to go to every game, so you go to the game. I'm watching this specific player, unlucky, the fielding all day, so you've had a wasted journey. You can now pick up every game, every one of them, and I want to spotlight that player, and you can isolate that player. So I think it's perfect.
good.
I thought it was very interesting that Stokes bowled in the nets. He says he's not going to bowl in the game. He must be. There must be times where he thinks, "Oh, God, I'll
He's
have an
trying
over."
to build it up, but he
I
keeps
know.
saying he's not
He's
going to
been very disciplined.
not going to bowl in the match. Do you see maybe later on that he might if it holds up well in the nets?
I'm absolutely certain he will. And the other thing, which I mentioned to Jim the other morning, to Jim and Simon, Jimmy Anderson has been bowling left-arm spin in the nets under the tutelage of Jack Leach.
Oh, wow.
And he could. I've seen him bowl left-arm spin. He does it regularly in practice, and he is no mug.
Well, that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
That would be ridiculous. Extend his career by another 10 years.
He probably could. Yeah. Maybe he will make 85, like Harsha said. So, yeah. Cheers, Bumble. Enjoy the rest of the play until we catch up again. Thanks a lot.
Catch you again.
There we are. David Lloyd there, former England batsman and coach.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.